God, Mum, you're not on Tinder.
Most people call it plenty of fuck.
We're going to make you a profile.
The Playing with Matches podcast, where women talk about their experiences dating online. Hello, I'm Mark, and welcome to Playing with Matches, the podcast where women talk about their online dating experiences. So this is episode 13. Unlucky for some, but not for us or you, I hope. The name for the phobia of number 13 is triskaidekaphobia. So why do we consider the number 13 to be unlucky? In Norse mythology, the god Loki was 13th to arrive at a feast in Valhalla, where he tricked another attendee into killing the god Baldur. I hate when that happens. Latecomers come in and spoil the party for everyone. In Christianity, Judas, the apostle who betrayed Jesus, was the 13th guest at the Last Supper. But contrary to Western beliefs, many Asian cultures consider the number 13 to be lucky. In Chinese and other East Asian traditions, 13 is associated with prosperity and good fortune. And it's just a number, right? Well, our episode 13 is all about Tara. Tara has had so much dating nonsense online that her friends call her Bridget. A reference to Bridget Jones's Diary, of course. The famous book and film. The first film, incidentally, was released on April the 13th, 2001. Spooky. Though not as spooky as the fact that it was 23 years ago. I hope that makes you feel as old as I do. Tara was interviewed during the second UK lockdown, which also seems like a long time ago, but really wasn't. There's much talk of that time in this interview. I hope it doesn't trigger you. It certainly took me back. She talks about how desperate she is to get back out into the real world, and something about the audio quality that feels like a Zoom recording, because it is one, emphasizes that feeling, that time when dating apps, WhatsApp and Zoom were our main lines into society. It's hard to imagine how we could have coped before we had that technology in, say, 2001, for example. Tara thinks she's catnip for catfish. She's been stung before, and she worries that it's made her too guarded. Maybe she's scaring off the genuine article by asking for confirmation that they are who they say they are. Well, let's hear what she has to say in full. Tara was interviewed by Denise and Joanna. Thank you to them. She began, as some other women have, by reading her About Me section on her dating app profile. And then she goes on to tell us how her online dating story began. I'll be back at the end for nachos and nut milk. Until then, take it away, Tara.
Bubbly, outgoing girl who likes to have fun. Love travelling. This pandemic needs to jog on now. I'm so ready to see more of the world. Good sense of humour, caring and genuine girl, looking for something meaningful and just have someone to share good times and make amazing memories with. I think for me, God, it's so many years ago, I've never really been in that much of a long-term relationship and so online dating, I've always just been on. It's just going back to years ago now. Not so much. I think recently, with lockdown, I'm on it more than ever, just because of the whole, I'm bored. It's not necessarily, I want to find someone, because in this sort of situation, pandemic, I don't think I will find anyone. I think it's more forced than anything, just because I'm lonely. Just want to find somebody's there to talk to. Sometimes I'm not that interested in them. I don't know. I feel over the years, just still, I haven't found anyone. I think for myself, I've been single for so long just because I've been so happy and content with my life. Like, I've got good friends around me, amazing family, and I've travelled quite a bit as well. So I haven't ever really stayed in one place for such a long time. And when I have dated, it just has never led into anything. And it has to be that one person to bring back to my mum, which it has to be a special person, as that's it. My mum will literally have a big list and she'll be like, just can see the look already, like, So yeah, I think that's a bit of the background for my, dating sort of. That's why I just always do it online. And I find it, I'm quite a confident person, so I will speak to people when I go out, but I don't know. I've just been such a Bridget Jones my whole entire life, and I've just kind of got used to it. I think the first time I ever went, it was when FaceTime wasn't really a thing or anything like that. So, I just started chatting to this guy. I think I was about 23. 24 at that age. And then, I'm a rugby player, blue eyes, absolutely gorgeous, you know, tick, 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 the typical guy that everyone goes for. And we were chatting for a good couple of months. And yeah, it was just very intense, but it was just so nice. Like, although you've never met that person, you kind of just felt yourself. There was a connection there, and we had a lot to talk about from morning to night. And it kind of was getting to the point where, right, we need to meet now. It's getting, I could actually see you being my boyfriend sort of thing. And then we planned to meet and everything. And then it was in London. He said he'd be wearing a blue shirt, holding a rose at the bar. I turned up, and so yeah, this Harry wasn't a 24-year-old. He was actually about late 50s, still in a blue shirt, still holding a rose. But it was kind of like, you know, when you're looking around, like, this is a joke, isn't it? This is like, you know, one of those TV programs I'm thinking, no, this has got to be one of those that I'm going to be like on a joke TV program, like praying for the cameras to actually come out, praying, but they never did. And yeah, that experience, I was off online dating for a while after that. Because it was, one, a bit scary, two, I didn't run away from it. I kind of confronted him and just said, why? Like, we've been chatting for such a long time, like nearly 3 months. It's a long time. If only like Facebook was such a big thing back then, or video calling, then it would be a whole different story. But he just said it was so hard. We'd got past the point where, you know, we did have a connection. Would laugh. It didn't sound like, you know, late 50s sort of guy or anything like that. And, you know, he'd be sending pictures, but it'd be other people's pictures, like of like him playing sport, him playing rugby and things. And then felt so alone. He'd lost his wife previously before and had never really connected with anyone, and as much as what he did with me. And it kind of went from, I'm not angry at you anymore, I actually feel a bit sorry for you, but the trust is kind of gone. So I don't think anything can really happen. And that was it, really. We spoke for about an hour and really just left it at that, walked away, and then unmatched, and never really saw and never really spoke to him again. I think that much of an age difference, because I think I was 22 at the time, and like, I think he said he was 59. That is a massive gap. And considering I had all this in my head, he's 24, you know, younger, we've got so much we can do together. Like, you know, I was all ready to travel. I was all ready to do this, that, and the other. And like, no offense, there might be some 58, 59-year-olds that can do all of that and be fit and be proper playing rugby like 5 times a week, but it wasn't my Harry. And I think that's the scary thing about it now. Still with this lockdown, I've found so many catfishes, but I know all the signs now. And I just think a lot of people just are lonely or don't have people. But the good thing now, I think, from what we didn't have before is like you get people to be verified, so you can tell if they're real or not. So I mean, that's the thing. It did put me off online dating for a while, because my trust was gone. It was quite scary. I didn't really know or trust anyone again. There was always that, no, can't do it. So I didn't do it for a couple of years. And then it's just always been there. Like, the apps have always been there. I don't necessarily have to go on them all the time. But I think especially through lockdown now, though, more than ever, I'm just so bored and I just want to speak to people. I can't see my friends. You can't do much, can you, at all? So, I mean, I think more than ever, I'm finding out a lot about people. Like, I know the catfishes straight away because they just unmatch you, because you're like, can you verify who you are? And they get all like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I just want to make sure you're real. Please don't take it the wrong way. I'm not asking for your Instagram or anything. I'm just asking you to verify that you're a real person. Because it was the first time like it ever happened to me. And you watch it on TV and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, sitting there with all the girls, popcorn. Can you believe that catfish? Are you joking? Then when it happens to you, like, oh my God. And my friends all laugh and stuff. Like, when it happened, obviously, it was just, it put me down, a little bit depressed. It was like, oh my God, like, I've just had my trust completely. Felt a little bit not heartbroken, but in that respect, oh my God, I've never actually experienced anything like this. And it's, like I said, it was scary. But then looking back now, I can laugh. But I'd say that's probably the worst experience I've been through. There was another one, but that's just someone completely lying and pretending they're somebody else. Again, it was like going somewhere, really got along with this person, and then just turned out to be someone completely different and not even them, and finding out through their partner. And it's just like, what's the matter with these people that feel like the need to do that? Like, there must just be, I don't even know, like, I can't even imagine what goes on with some people's heads to help people through that, because I'm quite, a confident person, and, I've got my friends around me and we can laugh about it, but there might be people that actually can't. And, they may have been put in a situation like that, like I was with the 55-year-old. And, it could have been a different scenario. And you can get other situations where it is quite scary, and, you hear about them. So you've got to be very, very careful. But I even said that to the guy that I met. I said, yeah, but what if I wasn't the way I was, and I was a timid, shy girl, and I'd come and met you? And, that could have been a big thing, and it could have been a completely different situation. So you can't be doing that to people. So it was kind of giving them a telling off, because it's like, you've built my hopes up and really just kind of broken me down. And now I'm kind of like, what do I do now, sort of thing. So yeah, that's when I just took a break. For me, it's just, like I say, making sure I know they're verified. I know straight away. I think I ask a lot of questions, and then sometimes that they may think, whoa, chill out, like, what's all these questions for? But I think it's because of the previous experience I've been through. That's what's made me, ask so many questions or be so a bit paranoid about things. And, sometimes they may be real people, you never know. And I have genuinely had such a great connection with these people, but I've ruined it because of my past experiences of online dating. It's the thing, like, sometimes people may be like, well, I don't think I need to verify who I am because it is me. And if you can't believe me, and it's like, I want to, because we really, really get along, and, I do want to meet up with you and stuff. But if you're not willing to maybe just show who you are, it's just a bit weird to me. I've had so many people that I could meet up with, and you're saying like, oh, should we have a FaceTime? We've been chatting for like 3-4 weeks now and meant to be meeting up next week. Should we have a FaceTime? Oh no, I'm busy. You've been busy for a month now, hun. Like, come on, we need to have a phone call, because I'm not just going to turn up. And then get unmatched, and straight away, God, that's another one. It's just time wasters. I do get catfish quite a lot, but I don't know how everyone's like, you literally have this curse with everyone you talk to. It's either like, just a strange one, or very weird, or it's a catfish. But no, there are some happy ones. So let's go on some happy ones then. So there's been like a few people, genuinely do get along with them, meet up with them, date for a couple of months, but then it just kind of fizzles out. But again, I don't know if that's just because I do want to meet someone. Of course I want to meet someone, but it's just, I think I'm just so used and so independent of being on my own. But then I see all my friends around me that are all in relationships, and I'm like, oh, I want that. And then when I do finally get it, it's like, oh no, I don't want that. I like prefer my single life. But I'm getting older now, so I do want to settle down. And I think that's why, I think especially through lockdown, you see everybody like being together and having their loved ones for their support. Whereas, like, luckily for me, I just moved back in with my mum. So I've had my mum, bless her little heart. So she's been my lockdown lover, bless her. It's so hard. I've met a couple of people, but nothing's come up of it. And I think then finally you was getting to go out more. I was going to move to London. So we're going out a lot in London, meeting a lot of people, like rooftop bars, summer, like it was great. And then this happens, and it's like back to square one again. And it's trying to build that connection and relationship with someone over a phone, or, it's very hard. And then it just fizzles out because there's not much else to talk about. It's like, hi, how are you? Fine, you? Like, the conversation's dead before it's even started. I think there's too much choice. And I think now what they've started to do is, this just shows how sad I have been on these apps, is they're like, you've ran out of like people that you like can match with in your location, so we're going to extend it. So I'm matching with people in Mexico and America now, so I'm loving life, I'm never going to see these people. It's so hard just to find someone. Like, I think like through lockdown, through these online apps. I mean, when things like when we were in a lower tier, it was going out for a walk. but there's only so many times you can walk around the block of, oh, that's a nice house. Oh, I've seen that twice already. It's just different, isn't it? It's not like, let's go to a pub or let's go down the beach and watch the sunset. And I mean, you can still do all of that now. It's just more of a different feeling when it's not in lockdown. A lot of people have been honest. They are who they are, which is great. But I think, a lot of them have been honest, a lot dishonest, but more on the honest side of things. Like, that's great. And you finally meet up with them. But then it's just, I just don't know why. I've just been so unsuccessful in finding people. I don't know. My mum's like, you're too picky. And I said, I don't think it's me being like picky. I just know what I want. Like, I'm at an age now where I don't want to date anyone below 25. Like, I'm 35. And it's like, I want someone sort of my age that's experienced. I mean, if I go any like low younger, that like say go 25 and younger, they haven't experienced life. I've kind of done all the traveling, still want to go and see the world, but with someone a bit more mature, somebody that's, you know, experienced life more, likes things I do. But yeah, it's just very difficult. I have had some good ones. Like, you know, there was one, I was living in Australia, and there was a really nice guy that I'd met out there. But again, it's just because I knew I was only there for a year, it just kind of fizzled out as well. You know, you're not going to be there any longer. He was Australian. Obviously, I was like, can I come on your visa? Yeah. And they all think that as soon as you meet them, they're like, oh, they're just here for the visa. But he was nice. I met a few other people as well. But I just been so unlucky with the online. I think it's just a reoccurring thing now. It's the conversation just runs dry, or it goes to the point where it's like, oh, can you send me a pic? What? Can you send me a rude pic? And I'm like, you don't even know like anything about me. You haven't even said, hey, how are you? And it's instantly in there with that question. And I found as well, a lot of people, you'll chat to them for a while and they're like, oh, I've got a girlfriend, by the way, or I've got a boyfriend, by the way. Fancy a threesome? And I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, you know, why not put that in your bio, because I would have swiped right if I knew that, you know. So I think a lot of people are very shady and secretive in some of the things that they do, especially as well. That's not just in lockdown, that's before, but I think more so in lockdown, there's so many curious people out there, and like so many guys, anyone that I've spoken to, they've got partners, and then I find out, and then instantly I'm like, why would you do that, you know, and then just unmatch with them. But I just think genuinely lockdown is making a lot of people, I think dating apps have kind of changed how we think about and approach social relationships and personal connections. Some are nice, some are difficult. I mean, you chat to some people and you do get a good conversation out of them. It's going great, but then it sways into something else, and it's like, it's the same sort of route where it'd be like, great conversation, send me a pic. In the first like couple of 5-10 minutes, and it's like, I don't want to send a pic. I haven't even asked how I am, hun. So I don't want to. I never send pictures anyway. But it's kind of that's a reoccurring thing. Like I said, I think I found a lot of people are just unhappy in their relationships, so they're now coming on to dating apps, and that's just a territory I sway away from and tend to try not to speak to them and just say, look, you shouldn't really be doing this, but you know, they just ignore me and say, oh, whatever, and just unmatch me or like block me or whatever. But, you know, there's some of the examples that I'm kind of getting myself. I think a lot of people don't read the bios. They'll just, and I think that's generalization for a lot of people. I think a lot of people can agree with me. They will just swipe right just for the way somebody looks. And like, you know, I'll put my hands up. I've done it a couple of times. I think everyone probably has, you know. But then they're like, have you read my bio? And then I read it. I'm like, oh God, yeah, no, unmatched. I think, like I said, a lot of people don't read the bio, aren't actually interested in you as a person, and they don't want to get to know you, which is annoying because it's like, what do you want then, sort of thing. And I just think it's just a lot of creeps. Sorry to say it, but there are just a lot of creeps and weirdos out there that only kind of want one thing, or not. They don't really want to date, and they're just there for fun. Whereas it clearly can say in my bio that I don't want just fun. I want more than that. And I think now as well, I look to see if they've got a blue tick, if they're blue tick verified, like I said before, because I've just had enough of the fakeness, and now it's time. I think I just want this lockdown to be over so I can actually just go out and talk to people. I found myself now walking along, walk just waving to random people that I think is quite hot. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, how are you? And I'm thinking, what am I doing? It's got to that desperate stage now. I'm just chatting at random people that are running past me. I've been on dating apps for far too long now. I think it's more of a hobby, which sounds really stupid, but it's more routine. Like I'll wake up in the morning before, because I'm such a little social butterfly, I'd always have something to do. But now, like more than ever in lockdown, I wake up and the first thing I'll do, like have a little scroll through Instagram, and then I'll go on my dating app, and then I swipe for a couple of 10 minutes, get in the shower, might have a few matches, so I'll reply back to them throughout the day. And it's like, why is this my life now? Like I'm actually like going on dating apps more than ever, and this is just, then everyone's like, you're such a Bridget. That's where Bridget comes in, because all my friends always call me it. My mum's always like, when you sit down with my mum and she's like, why haven't you met somebody? You're such a good catch. I'm like, thanks, mum, but it's true. Not like I have got a great personality, and I just don't know what it is. I just haven't found that person that I connect with, but I find I'm getting put off by all the dating apps, especially after lockdown. I just want to be able to go out and meet someone naturally. And, if you've got that connection, and I mean, a lot of my friends, they're all in relationships, and they're like our groups are all kind of in relationships, so they can't really set us up with anyone. So for me, the best way I'm going to find someone is actually getting out there and, interacting with them face to face rather than over a phone app. Like dating apps give you a solid foundation to get to know someone properly. So you've kind of got that foundation to meet them, actually find out what they're like as a person, go in deep, and then you meet them and it's like, thank God it's you. There've been so many times when it's been like that after Harry. But there's been so many times where, I've just been, thank God it's you. And oh my God, like we have this amazing bond and connection. But then a lot of the time I friend zone people. I don't know if it's because I'm scared or, scared of commitment in a way, but, it's always everyone that I've always kind of like gone on dates with. I'm saying this like I've been on thousands of dates. I haven't, right? But we get along so much better as friends. And so I still have a lot of them in my life now as friends, which is nice. So in a way, the app's worked as a friendship. I don't want it to be a friendship anymore, You want to meet someone. Was chatting to this girl, like we had a lot in common, like we loved like Ibiza. Like she was like, me and my friends, oh my God, like my friend's a saxophone player, he's absolutely amazing, you need to listen to him. Like I love going to the cinema. I love going to festivals and things. And then also like on the downside, like to do this, that and the other. And I thought, amazing. So we were chatting for a good 3-4 weeks, which doesn't seem a lot when you say it, but when you're chatting to someone every single day, it is a long time. And that was like from morning to evening. And again, it was the same situation. It was like, should we have a conversation? We are meeting next week. Do you want to should we go on the phone? And with this one, there was always an excuse. Never was going on the phone. I said, but we're meeting in 3 days now. Like, I think it's a bit weird. I can't not meet up with you without seeing you on the phone. And then she replied with, oh, I'm deaf. And I was like, oh God, and I felt bad. And I was like, oh, that's fine. It doesn't change anything for me. I've never dated anyone that's deaf, but I mean, we can work around it. And it was one of those things that genuinely, like if it was going down the line that I really like this person, you look more into it. But then it was like, hold on a minute. Nothing kind of makes sense here. So you're saying that you love going to festivals, you love music, you love going to the cinema all the time. You go like twice a week. You love the saxophone players. And I'm thinking, I know people have different hearing, hearing aids and things like that. So I was thinking, no, to benefit of the doubt. And it was all a lie. And it wasn't. And I just knew then, you got a gut feeling when you're talking to somebody and they come out with a lie like that. And I just think, is this what people can actually go to stoop that level to go to and we went through personal things together. We genuinely got along. And then it just, again, another in the face. And I just think, is this all that I'm doomed for? Just catfishes? And it ended up being a guy that had done it to loads of people before. Me and the girls went round to came round to my house, and I said, I don't know if I believe it or not. We need to get to the bottom of it. So girls being girls, we rang the number, and then we'll cut the long story short. yeah, it ended up being a guy, and he admitted that he's done it to so many people before, and he just thought I was an amazing girl, and he didn't want to lose that connection, so he couldn't tell me it had gone too far. And I'm just thinking, this is like deja vu. I said, I think, how many more times can I actually go through this? But then again, just came off the app for a while. So, but I always go back, and I don't know why. What must go through their minds? And, the first time he's done it, and he could, like you say, he's done it to so many people, other people. So it's just like, oh, what were their other people like? And it's just it just freaks me out in a way. And I just think, oh my God. And now it kind of puts, it's not exciting anymore on these dating apps. It's kind of like, it gets you a little bit paranoid and scared. Well, who am I actually talking to? I'm quite an honest person, so I will tell them if I'm speaking to someone, and it is a very good conversation. We do get along, we click, but there's just something missing. I will say, I'm just going to be honest with you, like, I do really enjoy talking to you and stuff, but I don't see it going anywhere romantically. I mean, we can still carry on talking. I mean, sometimes they do, and they're like, oh yeah, what's your Instagram? Honestly, you're the most hilarious person. You're so funny. You're so nice. I do want to keep in contact. Whereas others are like, nah, all right then, bye, on to the next. The people that do stay around, it's quite nice, because it just goes to show that, they do like me for me. And just because there's no romantic spark there, that they'll still hang around. But I have got a few friends out of it, and, they're people now where I go out with, and I'm like, what do you think about her? What do you think about her? And we actually like set people up for each other, which is funny. When we matched, and, we've had these flirty little conversations, and then it fizzled out. And now we're actually going out with each other, setting each other up with other people. Sometimes I'm like, hold on a minute, I'm getting a bit jealous here. What's this? Do I actually care? Do you like it? I said, oh, no, take it back. You don't, Tara, you don't. Well, I think after this conversation, it's just proven to me that I need to come off the dating websites now. And this has been very therapeutic for me. It literally has. I'm sitting here like, it's actually been quite nice. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so nervous saying to the girls, I don't know what to say. I'm going to be cringe, but it actually just feels so comfortable just being able and just getting it out there, really. My experience could help other people. I think I'm going to come off, like I say, online dating apps now and just do me for a while. I mean, I think I just need to concentrate on myself and love me a little bit more before I can let anyone in. And I think that's why I do let people in now, because I know I'm not going to see them for a little while. We are still in lockdown. It may be like, we don't know. I'm just quite happy being me. And I think I've had so many experiences now in the past where a few people that you talk to, and I don't know what goes through their mind. You'll match with them, and then they'll be like, you chatting to anyone else? And I'm like, well, when you just matched, like, yeah, kind of. Like, and then it's like, oh, well, forget about it then. And then they just unmatched. And I'm thinking, oh, do you know, I'm just so drained. I'm so done with this life. Like, it does get draining after a while. And it's like, you just see the reoccurring things that happen. Is, oh, there's another one gone. Before, at the beginning, you're like, oh, that's sad, isn't it? That's like, what have I done wrong, sort of thing. But now I'm like, oh, well, on to the next. Keep on swiping a little bit more. On Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, that's the three main ones. Like back in the day, I'd use plenty of fish. But yeah, they're the three ones that I use now. I'd say, I don't know. I don't really like any of them, to be honest, now. But I'd say over the years, I don't know, Bumble's quite good because it does have that verification on there. So that's why I think I more prefer to go on there, because I do get that, they're actually real. I'm speaking to a real person, so I can relax now, be myself a little bit more. I'll get to know them as a person. Whereas like still Tinder, you still have that, and like with Hinge and things, you still have that in the back of your head. But yeah, I'd say more Bumble than anything. What a name, Bumble. You know, and then like you've run out of bees in your area. I'm like, find more bees. They should give me like a premium account for free because I'm on it that much, and like, you know, all these stories. I think I need to have that. But no, I don't know. It's just, I think online dating itself, I just find it a crazy world. Experience I've been through. But is this going to be it? You know, what's going to go on now? How else can I date? It's the only way of doing it.
So that was Tara. I hope she's doing well in the couple of years since that interview. I hope she's gone back out into the real world and met her blue-eyed rugby player, the typical type that everyone goes for, apparently. Or found happiness in herself, whatever works for her. I definitely felt like I was thrown back into lockdown listening to that. The desperation to get back out there, the need for real human contact, especially so in Tara's case, in that she'd been catfished so many times that she didn't really trust anyone who wasn't in front of her in real life. It sounds like she was quite nice to Harry, I think that was his name, the man in his 50s pretending to be a 24-year-old. I mean, that's a proper catfish, isn't it? Him holding a rose being the only way that she could have possibly identified him. It's weird. I can understand the desire to feel young again, to lie about your age. But how could he possibly think that turning up in the flesh would go well? Wouldn't you own up to the truth before the date itself? I guess if we're being generous, we could say that it maybe meant he genuinely liked Tara and wanted her to see the real him. But if he cared enough about her, then the pain, I'm sure, would have been a little less if he'd spared her and him the humiliation of a public reveal. I wonder how many of the ghosting stories we hear about are actually catfishes realizing that they can no longer hide behind the internet. Or maybe it's a trait of the catfish that they ultimately want to be seen for who they are. Maybe, and it's a purely speculative maybe, they want to shame the other person into loving them. You know the story of Cyrano de Bergerac, the guy who intellectually connects with the woman of his dreams, but feels that he's too ugly for her to love him as he is. So he writes letters of love and poetry to her through the avatar of a handsome soldier that he already knows that she likes the look of. It's more complicated than that, but that's the core of it. Well, if you don't know the story, spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for any of them. I don't want to go too far into incel territory, but there does seem to be a common thought among men who feel they can't get the woman of their dreams. If only she knew the real me, then she'd love me. It might be a romantic idea for them, but I would ask them this. What is it about the woman that you like? Is it her mind? Or are you asking for her to want you for your mind, but you want her for her physical attributes? I took that a bit further than I was expecting, but it does seem to be a common thread amongst the catfish community, if there is one. The desire to connect with someone who is, for want of a better phrase, out of your league. You know what? There isn't a league, in my opinion. There's just compatibility and incompatibility. And that's not something you can force. It's certainly not something that can work long-term through deception. Well, that's my thought for the day. What do you think about it all? You can contact us at playingwithmatchespodcast@gmail.com about this or anything else. We do love to hear from you. So I think that about wraps us up for another episode. Number 13. Did we make it? I hope so. The next is 14. I don't know of any juju connected with that, but let's see. So until next time, good luck out there and on there. Bye-bye.